It is Monday, January 6th. This is Jaguars Happy Hour. Jaguars Happy Hour is presented by Jet Home Loans. And now, a guy who walked to the paint store to get thinner. It didn't work. J.P. Shadwick.
And welcome in. It is Jaguars Happy Hour on this Monday, January 6th. The first hour presented by Jet Home Loans and a busy 2 hours ahead. Doug Pederson out as the Jaguars head coach. Trent Baalke stays as the Jaguars general manager. Owner Shad met with the media earlier. We'll hear him coming up. We'll have, of course, Pete Prisco and Tony Baselli for an entire show of Keeping It Real today. And Fanatics fan questions, and we'll go around the National Football League. Doug Pederson out as the head coach. Trent Baalke still in as the GM. Owner Shad put out a statement this morning at around 8:20 a.m. saying that Baalke and others close to the organization would hire a leader who shares his ambition and, quote, is ready to seize the extraordinary opportunity. The full statement available at Jaguars.com. This afternoon, though, Jaguars owner Shad meeting with the media, and what was it about the coaching that needed change?
Obviously, we made the playoffs. We're in the division game. Last year, we started off 8-3 and then went 1-5, okay, and didn't make the playoff. It was a winning season, but didn't make the playoffs. And after that, I started really right in Nashville, sat down with Doug, okay, what are we going to do? And he identified, on the defensive side, we needed to change the staff and so on. And as the season, progressed, obviously we weren't doing well. We were close, like yesterday, but not close enough to win the game. And then as I spoke to Doug, even last week for a good length of time, I just came to the conclusion what we were doing was not working and a change in direction was needed.
That's Shad Khan. We'll hear more from him coming up. Trent Baalke on the Zoom conversation with the media as well, asked if he's surprised he's still the general manager.
I don't know if surprised is the right word. Ultimately, that's not my decision. That's the decision of ownership, and I certainly respect the decision that's been made and don't take the job lightly. The real fact, the bottom line is we weren't productive on the field. We didn't win enough games, and I don't shy away from that. I'm just as responsible as anybody else. And, all we can do now is roll up our sleeves and go to work.
More from Trent Baalke, GM, coming up as well. We're on 1010XL. Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube, J.P. Shadwick with Pro Football Hall of Fame left tackle Tony Baselli in studio with us today, and Pete Prisco, CBS Sports senior writer down in South Florida. Good afternoon, Pete. How are you?
Well. Interesting day around the city of Jacksonville. I
love
mean,
it, Pete.
I love when Trent says he's as responsible as anybody else. Well, clearly he isn't because he didn't get fired, so he's not. I mean, the finger was pointed at the coach and coaching staff. It wasn't pointed at the general manager. So, from my standpoint, you guys know how I feel. I am astounded they didn't just get rid of everybody. And if you're going to get rid of Doug Pederson, why not get rid of everybody? That's the way I felt about it. And it didn't happen, and he's still there. For now, and the reason I say for now, we don't know how long he's going to be there. We don't know if he's just being kept to be a conduit through the interview process. Look, Shad Khan doesn't know a lot of people in the NFL. He doesn't know how to conduct an interview process, and I think he's going to lean on Trent Baalke for that. The problem becomes if he leans on Trent Baalke too much and Trent Baalke influences the process. And by that, I mean, gets one of his guys in there. And if that's the case, that's never good for the organization. And that's why I think it's going to be a problem the way it's being structured. And here's the other thing. Trent Baalke has 1 year left on his deal, as I was told. He was asked today, Shad Khan was asked today about the contract extension. Well, don't you think that's something that a coach coming in for an interview is going to need to know? If I'm interviewing in Jacksonville, I need to know what the plan is for Trent Baalke. And the word is it's going to be a coach-centric organization, and we talked about that, Tony, before. The coach is going to have the juice in the building. It's going to be he's the guy. And if that's the case, and you see a guy you really like, and he doesn't like Trent Baalke, but he has somebody else he'd like to get in there, then go get the guy. You can't let Trent Baalke influence you from making the right decision for the franchise.
Tony Baselli, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Pete, I hear you. The one area I take a little bit of issue with and disagree with, for you to say Shad Khan doesn't know a lot of people, he's been an owner in this league since 2012. Like
he always leaned on people to handle the interview process.
That's not true. He led the whole process last year and interviewed like 15 people, whatever it was, and everyone complained that it was too long and he was being too thorough and talking to too many people. And I know for a fact, because I've talked to agents, they know, they pick up the phone. Shad's talked to them. Like, so to say Shad does not know people now, I just think is wildly wrong, like way off base. I'm just telling you. I mean, if you would have said this in 2012, 2015, okay, maybe. This is 2025. He's gone through multiple coaches, multiple GMs, been to the playoffs. He's on owner committees. He's like leads around international.
I'm not saying he doesn't know the owners, Tony.
He knows the coaches. He knows he's around now.
Look,
I'm just telling you.
He needs somebody to run the interview process for him.
I'm not. That's a different conversation. Like a lot of owners hire firms to run the process. They can have
the Jets.
The Jets are doing it.
Gilman, who I work with, and Mike Tannenbaum, who's the former Jets GM.
So I'm going to say something that's going to seem like I'm taking a shot at Tannenbaum and Spielman.
Okay.
And I'm not.
You can. I take shots at Rick Spielman all the time.
Why are they any more qualified to lead a search than Trent Baalke? Let me ask you a question. How many Super Bowls has either of those guys took a team to? The answer is 0, just for the record. How many AFC or NFC championships have they taken a team to? Built a team that went to those?
Spielman went to a couple.
Okay. Super Bowls? Never.
No, championship games.
Yeah, but never Super Bowls. Tannenbaum, I don't think, has done either.
No.
Okay. Love or hate, and I've been pretty much honest as far as my praise and criticism of Trent Baalke as GM. I try to be down the line when he does something I disagree with. I say I disagree with. Never personal. When I say he does something good, like the Walker Little, I think it was a great deal, did a great job. I said great job. But the bottom line, the dude built a team that went to 3 straight NFC championship games, went to a Super Bowl, came here, was part of the process of building the team that went to the playoffs in 2022 and was 8-3. And I'm not saying I agree with everything he's done, but why, Pete, is Spielman and Tannenbaum any more qualified than Trent Baalke to lead a search? Because at the end of the day, and this is one thing I know about Shad Khan, I've known him since 2012. I've had multiple sit-downs with him and conversations. He is going to make the decision. He will listen. He will go through the process. But I don't care if you're Trent Baalke, Tony Baselli, Mark Lamping, J.P. Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Donald Trump. Could give all their opinions. Shad Khan is going to make the decision of who the next head coach is. So I have no issue. Trent's the GM. He decided that Trent has done a good enough job, and we can break down whether we agree or not with that. And Trent's going to run the process. I don't see why that is any different, Pete, than Spielman or Tannenbaum being hired by Woody Johnson to run the process.
Who kidnapped Tony Baselli tonight? Who is in your body? What the hell? What the hell are you talking about?
Pete's breaking
you broke up. What'd you say?
The question I would have, and we'll get back to Pete in a second when he gets back his connection.
What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You are saying he shouldn't run the search, but you're fine with Spielman and Tannenbaum running the search for the Jets. What's the difference is my question.
Well, I don't think Spielman, and I particularly don't think Tannenbaum should be running the search. He was fired by the team. Fire. Hey, you know what? Doug Pederson knows a lot of people in the NFL and a lot of coaches. The Jaguars should bring back Pederson and allow him to run the search.
I didn't say
it doesn't
that.
Make any sense
I didn't say that.
No, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. But I also think that's the reason why he's keeping Baalke around.
I don't think it is.
Here's a question I have.
I don't. I guess that where I'm disagreeing with you. Your premise of why he's keeping around. I disagree with that.
Is there any reservations?
Keep him around for his body of work.
Is there any reservations that potential coaches might have, considering the track record that Baalke had after Harbaugh?
Yes.
In San Francisco.
I think that whether it's reality or perception, that is out there, and like I think we'd be disingenuous not to say that. Now you can argue whether it's true or not, but the perception out there, and I've heard it, and Pete, you've heard it, and you go through the list of coaches from the 49ers to the Jaguars. I think it's funny about the Urban Meyer because that was Shad Khan's hire. He was the GM.
He's the GM.
No, Pete.
I heard Trent Baalke was all over that too.
Okay, let's not go down. I've tried to forget about Urban Meyer ever existing in this organization, so let's not bring it up. But anyways, going through that list, there's no doubt that if you talk to people around the league, the perception is that Trent Baalke rammed these people out and did a poor job and had confrontations and conflict between the front office and the coaching staff. There's no doubt about it. That's the perception. That's the talk. And Pete has heard it. I've heard it. There are individuals who say they will not come to an organization if Trent Baalke is a GM. Pete, is that accurate?
Correct.
Okay. I actually think
by the way, I don't necessarily always believe that.
I don't either. That's where I was going.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that. It just depends on how it's structured in the organization. For example, if I'm a coach and Shad Khan tells me, look, you're going to have control inside this building, you're going to answer to me, that you can bring in one of your guys and kind of go over the top and make Trent a personnel guy or something if he stays in the building, then I'll let it work for a year because I know I'm going to make it work and he's going to be gone after a season if I don't get along with him. That's what I would do. So if I'm a coach out there, I'm coming for the interview. I'm going to listen to Shad Khan. I look at this job and I think this job is fantastic when you look at it from an owner that doesn't really meddle. It's probably too hands off sometimes. Willing to spend money. I mean, let's be real. The general manager who's in place right now spent a boatload of his money and got no return on investment, but he allowed them to do it. You got a new stadium. You have a new facility. You have no state income tax. You have a quarterback developed into one heck of a player, provided you put the right offense and build it around them. So what's not to love about the job? So if I'm anybody out there, I'm coming to listen. But if I come and listen and I hear all the things that I wanted to hear, and I say to Shad Khan, look, it's great and all. I want this job, and I know you want me, but I ain't working with him making the football decisions above me. He's got to go, or I'm not coming. Then Shad ultimately will have a decision to make. Does he let a coach he truly wants out the door to keep a general manager who's, quite frankly, hanging by a thread? So that's what it's ultimately going to come down to. But I'm with you, Tony. If I'm a coach of this league, I'm coming in for the interview. Unless I have a 10 times better option somewhere else.
Well, so, and Pete, your internet's going a little bit in and out, but I got what you said. So what you're saying is my perspective as well. A lot of people will say, I'm not taking the job because Trent Baalke's the GM or whoever's the GM. But in this case, it's Trent. Let's just call that's the word out there. It's on X. I've had phone calls today. I mean, Pete has. I mean, it's out there. Whatever. I always say I call cow poop. Well, I can't say the other word. Can I say the other word?
You cannot.
Yeah, okay. So I call you know what. Because here's the deal. there's only 32 of these jobs. There's only right now 5 open. I think the Raiders job opens up, so that'll be 6. There always is the 1 or 2 hot candidates. It's called the one who's hotter than, a firecracker at night is Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson's one hell of a play caller and offensive coordinator. If you wanted me to put gun to head, do I think he's going to be a great head coach? I think, but I don't know because it's a completely different skill set. So before we all do, backflips and, freak out about Ben Johnson and the rumors are he won't do this or that, like, slow your roll. Let's interview him because I agree with Pete. I think everyone's going to take an interview. And
you always take the interview.
And I think and Ben Johnson very well might be a great head coach because he's a hell of an offensive coordinator. I mean, one hell of an offensive coordinator. But until you have that interview, now, because Ben Johnson is such a hot candidate and probably will have multiple offers, could someone like that use that leverage to say, hey, I'm only coming if I can bring my guy? Possibly. But then he's going to have to do that in Chicago because Ryan Poles is staying. Mm-hmm. He'd have to do it here because Trent Baalke is the GM. Mm-hmm. Right now, what's the other open job? You have
New England.
New England. Mm-hmm. They're not getting rid of their GM.
He's new.
He's brand. That's my point. So if Ben Johnson wants his GM,
but Ryan Poles isn't calling the shots in Chicago, so they could get rid of him.
But right now,
let's be real.
I get that, Pete. But right now, there's not any of these jobs. He's not taking the Saints job. It's the worst job in America because of the cap issues they have. No one wants that job.
Correct. And a bad quarterback. I get it.
And so,
an average quarterback.
Yeah. Could Ben Johnson? He's probably the one candidate that could have that leverage if he really wanted it. But
if he's the guy that wants it, and if he's the guy you want, then you got to give him the leverage.
But that's only if after you interview him, Pete, you say he's not only a great offensive coordinator, he's going to be a great head coach. Because being a head coach,
Shad left the door open, Tony.
Because being a head coach is a different skill set than being an offensive coordinator.
Correct, but that's why Shad left the door open on Baalke not being here. He did and making the change. He said that. He said
that late in his. He said it late in his press conference. Yes.
We've got plenty ahead. Obviously, we're here until 6 o'clock. We've got plenty to discuss. We'll hear more from Shad Khan from earlier today, Trent Baalke as well. And the locker room was open today. After the news, we'll hear from some of the players as they cleaned out their lockers after the final day of the regular season. Jags fans want customized Jags furniture for your home? Check out zipchair.com and browse all customizable options. ZipChair furniture for fans. We're off and running on the final Jaguars happy hour of the season presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbecue.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
You love free, and at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elace, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elace.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
I don't think that's really, relevant. I think what's important is the structure we've had, it's work, which is both, Doug and Trent reporting to me. And that way, if there are issues that can be addressed openly, honestly. Doug was there this morning at MEC. He spoke to the players. I mean, there's no disharmony or, as far as that goes. So, whoever a new head coach is, it's going to be my job that similarly, our job is to support the head coach. What Trent is doing, what I'm doing, the rest of the people are doing are really like, service providers and serving the head coach to succeed.
That's Jaguars owner Shad Khan when asked if Trent Baalke is getting an extension as part of all this. That was the answer. JP Shadrick, Tony Vaselli, Pete Prisco with us. We'll get back with him coming up. Some technical things. We'll get back to Pete.
Did you take that answer as a non-answer?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too. Which is the right way to answer it, by the way.
Especially if it's a no, then you don't want to say, no, he's not getting one.
I don't know if it's a no or not. And I don't know actually what his contract situation is.
Pete seems to claim it's 1 year.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate.
Who really knows?
Yeah, I don't either. So, but I took Shad's answer there is the part I agree with him. One, I agree with a head coach centric system. Like the head coach has to be the voice of the organization from the football side. And the job.
That's what Urban was.
Well, that's what.
For better or worse, it was what it was.
Right. And that's what I think Shad wanted Doug to do.
Yeah.
It'd be. And if you look at, let's go through the number one. Let's go through the teams in the playoffs.
Okay.
Looking at structure, what we know. Best team in the NFL, Detroit Lions, in my opinion. Number one seed. Would you say that's a head coach centric system?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. Pretty clear.
They both separately report to the owner, GM and head coach. Report to the ownership group. But it's head coach centric.
Kansas City.
You think Andy Reid's in charge or not?
Andy's doing just fine.
Andy
Thank you.
is the
300 career wins,
and it's head coach centric. Mm-hmm. You know that they have a good GM. Everyone has a role, but it's Andy's show. But they both report up to the ownership.
Buffalo.
I believe that's the way. It comes across that way. Mm-hmm. Give me another team.
Baltimore Ravens.
John Harbaugh, the Chargers, Jim Harbaugh, no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. Sean Payton, the Denver Broncos.
Philadelphia.
That's a different story,
right?
Because I think Howie is kind of more like that's my opinion. I don't know for a fact, but it sure feels like Howie's the one that is dictating what they do.
It always feels like Sirianni's on the hot seat.
Yeah, it's always feel like Sirianni was like week to week, and Howie's waiting in the background, like, oh, well, I don't like that fourth down call today. But we don't need to go through everyone, but you get our point. And I actually agree with that. And I think it's more about getting the right people in the right roles and defining those roles and understanding what is the identity of the organization. So if I was going to be critical of the Trent Baalke, Doug Pederson tenure here, what's the identity?
Who are you?
What is our identity? Who are we trying to be? Like, what's the culture of the building and the organization? And, like, when you show up somewhere, this is who we are. I don't think that was established. Now, you could argue, is that whose fault is that? Whose responsibility is that? I think overall it's an organizational responsibility, but I think if you're going to be head coach centric, and that's what Shad wants, and I think that's what he wanted with Doug, it ultimately starts with the head coach. And now you have to support the head coach. And so it's the job of everyone to being on the same page, understanding your roles and what you're supposed to do, but then supporting. If everyone does their job, you're naturally supporting that head coach and his staff and players, because at the end of the day, in the NFL, everybody is dependent on what happens on that field. Everybody. Their jobs and their livelihoods literally depend on it.
Yeah, that's why
Wins and
everybody's
losses,
here.
by the way. And I'm not just talking about the assistant coaches and the training staff and the nutritional staff and the medical staff and the scouting staff and the GM. I'm talking about the people selling tickets, the sponsorship, facilities, communication, broadcast. We're all dependent on that. We're probably the least, because our job like our job is to communicate what happens and talk about what happens, win, lose, or draw.
We're gonna have a show,
but okay, we're gonna do that. What if you're selling tickets and your incentive comp and your bonus comp depends on how many tickets you sell?
That's right. Tough day today.
Probably tough year.
Yeah.
You don't think winning's important? I mean, what Shad communicated today is like, okay, this is the way, like, we're all our job is to support this head coach whose job is to go win football games. That's basically the structure. If you want to simplify it and be a reductionist and go down to the base level, it's like, this guy, we all have to support him. Trent, me, scouting, medical, everybody.
Yeah.
So that they can have success.
So we all have
success. Then we all have success.
Yep.
That's how it works. And that's what Shad was saying. I agree with that.
Pete Prisco back with us now. You hear all that?
Yeah,
Pete?
I am. I had to change computers and headset and everything. Something happened. So, yeah. I mean, I hear Tony waving pom-poms all over the damn place. I mean, come on.
What do you, instead of just taking a personal shot, which you were outstanding at doing, and by the way, I saw Brady, and he made sure to let me know what a pain in the you-know-what you are on a daily basis.
He told me.
Yeah, we talked.
He told me.
We shared stories about what a terrible person you are. But instead of just taking a personal shot, what do you disagree with what I just said? I'm just saying that because, Pete, where we started, I don't know if you heard it, we ran a clip. Shad was asked about extending Baalke. And basically he gave I don't want to say.
It's not really relevant, is what he said.
Yeah, not relevant, and talked about being head coach centric, and the job of the organization is to support that group, to give them the tools to have success, blah, 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 blah. And I was saying I actually agree with that. And if you look at successful organizations and the teams that have had success, it's built around that head coach and giving them the tools and the ammunition to go win the fight.
Well, let me ask you this though. Let's look at it from this standpoint.
Okay.
If Trent Baalke stays and doesn't get a contract extension, and the new coach comes in, you think they're going to be working in harmony together?
Yeah.
You do?
Why wouldn't they?
Because history says otherwise.
Oh, are you talking in general or Trent specifically? Did he say Trent?
He said Trent.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, you're going out again, Pete. I mean,
I don't know what's going on.
Did you pay your bill? Did you pay your bill this year?
Yeah, I was just on camera about 20 minutes ago, so it might not be might not be me.
So you're saying that we haven't paid our bills here?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No, I guess
you're paying a lot. You're paying a lot of coaches who aren't working, so maybe you can't pay the bill.
Not that funny.
Well, it's really not funny if it's your money.
Yeah, it's not to say.
I guess, Pete, the reason I say I think they will. So let's play this out. So because you said Trent specifically, and let's just say, let's do someone besides Ben Johnson, because that's everyone. Let's say Mike Vrabel came in here as head coach. Why wouldn't Mike Vrabel make it work the first year? Because he knows if he has success as the head coach and Trent can help him have success, or whoever in that seat, why wouldn't he work with him until he knows it doesn't work? Because he knows he's going to be there more than 1 year.
Well, they're also buddies.
Okay, they're buddies. Oh, let's say someone who's not Aaron Glenn. Let's just say Aaron Glenn, who I don't think has any relationship with Trent Baalke. Aaron Glenn comes in, first-time head coach of the organization. He comes in. Why wouldn't he try to make it work with Trent, even if Trent had 1 year on his deal? Because it benefits him.
Well, he's going to try and make it work.
And if it doesn't, guess what? There'll be someone else next year.
But, Tony, you know how egos are in that business. Are you kidding me? Guys don't get along half the time to begin with, and now all of a sudden you're getting guys stuck. You're stuck with them? Think about that.
There's only 32 of these jobs, Pete. And I know there's a lot of talk, and we all talk like this time of year. And I hear it all the time, these coaches saying, I'm not going there if this person's here or that, blah, 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 blah. And then the job opens up, and there's a long list of people waiting to work there.
Who kidnapped Tony Bazzelli?
I'm asking you, is that not true, Pete?
What do we have going on here tonight? I just don't understand
Pete,
this.
You're the one who said it a second ago. Is that not true?
I agree with you. Guys should do the interview.
That's what I'm saying.
You said there's only 32 of them. There's also only 32 general managers in the league, and you're keeping a guy will be on his third coach.
I get it.
2 number 1 overall picks, who spent a boatload of money for a team that won what? How many games did they win again? Remind me.
4.
So think about it from that standpoint. I'm coming in I'm going to be the new head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm stuck with that guy.
So I'm going to say, well, wait a second. 2 things. One, I think Shad deserves credit, because it would have been easy for him to do what a lot of other teams did, like the Giants and the Dolphins and others who put out comments today. Is like, we're staying the course with the individuals we have. And so he said no and got rid of a guy because he did not see progress on the field since the middle of last year. And he said, no, I'm doing it now. I'm not waiting. We're making a decision. So let's give him credit for that. At the same time, to Pete's point, he kept a guy who's been through multiple coaches and everything else. That was also part of that fallout. Shad made the decision. He thought it was more coaching than GM. Okay, great. That was his decision. My whole point, Pete, is he also said in the press conference, if someone came in and said, hey, there's a better structure or this or that or the other, and could convince him, to me, came away from this saying, it's like, this is an owner who just wants to win.
Right. If there's somebody that has a better process.
If you have a better process or a better deal, then I'm good.
Come on, all ears.
And so I think, and that's why I'm saying, Pete, my whole point is I get what you're saying because it's true. And you and I agree on this, and we've talked about it. The perception out there and the conversation is that there are certain guys who will not take this job if Trent Baalke's the GM. It is what it is. It's out there. My point is, I think a lot of times that's more talk than reality when push comes to shove. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's all I'm saying.
Why should you be forced to take the job with him there?
I'm not saying you should, Pete. I'm just saying you're missing my point. That's why you're losing your mind. My only point in this thing, there's only 32 of these jobs. There's only 5 of them open right now. They pay a lot of money. They're very prestigious. And a lot of guys, because I've had conversations with these people that tell me, I'm not taking the job if X, Y, and Z's there. Okay. And then amazingly,
until the contract slides on the desk, it's like, oh, wait a minute.
Amazingly, like weeks later, They're interviewing for the dang job.
Wow.
And they're like, I want that job. It pays $8 million a year.
How many zeros are on this?
No, I get that.
That's all I'm saying,
I
Pete.
get everything. I get everything you say, and you're right about that. Guys will interview, and somebody will take the job. But why should you be forced to do that?
You shouldn't.
But why should you be? Why should you be taking an opportunity to be a head coach in the National Football
You should
League,
not.
the next step in your career? No, but why should it be at a place where a general manager is being kept, but they clearly are cleaning everybody else out? The coaches, you do realize what this message sends now.
I do.
It
Pete.
was all Doug Pederson. It was
Pete.
The general manager had nothing to do with it.
And we're running over.
Yeah,
I want to come back to that, Pete, but I want to finish it. We'll come back to the coaching real quick. I want to finish this to make sure we're on the same page because I think we are. Pete, I don't think anyone should have to. My only point is Shad Khan is the owner of the team. It's his prerogative to do whatever the heck he wants. It's his money. And what he is saying is right now, Trent Baalke is my GM. He also said at the end, if somebody comes in and has a better idea and can convince me that I should do something different that'll help us win, I will listen. So no, it is the prerogative of every head coach. Ben Johnson. If Ben Johnson doesn't want to come here because of Trent Baalke, that's his prerogative, and I respect it. That's his decision.
Well, what happens if you're missing out on a great coach because you're stuck with Trent Baalke?
Well, then that is, guess what?
sense.
And guess what, Pete? Then that is Shad Khan's responsibility. And at the end of the day, if Ben Johnson...
Why even have it in this situation? You could have fixed it in one clean swoop.
Because he doesn't... Okay, let's talk when we get back because we're way over.
We got to come back.
All right, well, I just want to know if JP got the same Christmas bonus you got for being a yes man now.
Pete, that's unfair, and I'm going to come back and take you to task because that's not true. What did I want to know what I said that you disagree with. That's not a fact. Tell me.
The answer is no, I didn't, by the way.
By the way, I didn't either.
I would have claimed it. We're back in a moment.
I wouldn't have been on the radio if I did.
It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling and Son Incorporated. Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hey, Jags fans, Extreme isn't always about heat. It's about flavor. And 505 knows flavor. So wake up those sleepy taste buds with 505's new lineup of premium craft salsa. Powered by the bud-kicking boldness of fire-roasted Hatch Valley chilies, 505 salsas are more than enough to bulk up any simple spread. Ignite your sense of boldness with 505's all-new assortment of fiercely fiery flavors featuring 505's new black bean and corn craft salsa. And of course, 505's award-winning flagship flavor, Southwestern style.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour on this Monday, presented by Jet Home Loans. JP Shadrick with Tony Vaselli from the Hyundai Studios. Pete Prisco down in South Florida. It's hot and heavy. We're here until 6 o'clock. In the aftermath of the firing of Doug Pederson, Trent Baalke stays as the general manager. Jaguars owner Shad and Baalke met with the media on Zoom today. We'll hear more of that coming up. And X is on fire today, of course. We've got the Fanatics fan questions coming up a little bit later.
We're starting early.
We've got people calling Tony Vaselli a turncoat now on X.
Let's bring it, people.
They're coming at you, Tony.
That's fine. Bring it. Pete started it, misrepresenting what I'm saying, but you know what? Let's go.
I didn't
let's go.
I didn't call you turncoat.
Oh, you said I'm getting paid off to say what I'm saying, so that's basically the same thing.
I didn't get paid for the record.
And if all you Xers and great Jaguar fans, I love you all. Take your shot but here's reality. The reality is, Shad Khan is the owner of this team. It's his team. He owns it. He bought it. He gets the ability to make decisions of who works here and who does not, including yours truly, me.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in this building, it's his job. He made a decision based on the body of work after 3 years of wins and losses that we were going in the wrong direction. He has said from day one, this is a coach-centric organization. He believes that the head coach should be the loudest voice, that they're equal. They all report to him, but the head coach is, among equals, he's the lead. He's the lead. He's the one who's going to drive the boat, set the culture, who we are, and where we're going. That's what he said. He said it today again in the press conference. So he made a decision that based on the direction that he felt like he needed to make a change on the coaching after doing all the evaluation. You can agree or disagree with that, whether he should be the head coach, whether Doug should have got fired or not. He thought he should. He felt like, based on where this organization was today, that Trent Baalke had done enough while still under contract to be the GM moving forward. While at the same time he said that if someone came with a better thing, because he made a great point in the press conference, because people asked him, why don't you clean house? He's like, well, tell me what cleaning house means.
Yeah, let's hear. You want to hear that?
No, I'll just paraphrase it because we'll play it later.
Yeah.
Clean house. And he's like, well, what does that mean? Should I get rid of all the trainers and the equipment guys and the video guys? Are they all trash too?
That's not what that question was either. You know better.
I'm just telling you. They asked the question, when you say clean house, are you saying, so just get rid of the GM? Do you get rid of all the scouts too? Do you get rid of all the scouts too?
Eventually you will. If a new GM comes in, he hires his own scouts. Yes, unless he really likes guys on the staff. It happens all the time in this league.
And
it usually happens right after the draft.
Right after the draft.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But my point is, the whole point I'm making, I'm not sitting here saying he should or should not have fired Trent Baalke. I have not weighed in at all. Just like I didn't weigh in all year whether he should fire Trent Baalke or Doug Pederson. I haven't weighed in whether he should have fired Doug or not. It's not my job to hire and fire people. At the end of the day, and I said it before and I'll say it now, Shad and whoever is evaluating this building needed to take a deep look at the whole thing because it's not working. We had 4 wins. We spent more money than anybody, and we have 4 wins. We were 1-5 to finish the season. We're not productive. We have too many. We've been in the top 5 too many picking. We have too many double-digit losing seasons. So that's all I've said. And my point is, when Pete brings up, he's like, well, you should have fired. He can't be a part of the search. Shad doesn't know anybody. That's nonsense. He's been around since 2012. And everyone gets all excited. Let's go hire. What GM do you want? First of all, half the people on X, you don't even know what makes a good GM. You're giving me names of guys who are scouts. How do you know they're going to be good at what they do? Do you even know what a GM does?
How do you know anybody's ever going to be good as a GM, Tony?
That's my whole point, Pete. And my whole point is, and then you're saying, well, look at the Jets. They're going with Tannenbaum and Spielman. Oh, great. 2 guys who are talking heads at networks that can't get a job.
I'm
Let's
not
go trust them.
The best
no, that's what you said, Pete. That's what you said. And so
you have the guy.
That's what you said.
You have a guy who's ultimately responsible for the mess that you're in, conducting leading the search. Think about that for a second. The guy who is ultimately responsible for the mess that this team is in right now is leading the search.
No, I disagree with that. He's not leading it. Shad's leading it, just like he led the last search with Doug Pederson. Yes, Pete, you're wrong.
He'll make the final decisions. They'll bring the guys to him, and Trent will have major input on who comes to that.
Hey, part of the statement today, and this is an interesting part to me, I will collaborate with GM Trent Baalke and others within and close to our organization.
That's exactly right. I think this is.
What does that mean?
Well, let's find out. This happened today, and people are losing their mind. And I got Pete.
Are you another?
Today, at this moment, I have not talked to Shad since the announcement has been made, so I don't know if I'm another or not.
The only thing I can think of right now is you're either an other or somebody's outside taking you down from the Ring of Honor.
That's not true, Pete. I have not said it. Listen, I've been the loudest voice that what we are doing is not good enough. I've just said from the beginning, I'm not going to hire and fire anybody. I've been critical of Doug when he was here as the coach, and I praised him when he was the coach. I've been critical of Trent Baalke when he's the coach, and I've praised him as the GM, and I've praised him as the GM. I'm never going to hire or fire. It's not my job. I will be critical. I thought we missed on free agency. I didn't like where we did certain things this year. I think the results speak for themselves.
You're not critical at all. Keeping a guy who was ultimately responsible for the same thing that got the coach fired. You're not critical of that.
It's the prerogative of the owner. Let's see how this plays out.
Doesn't mean you can't be critical of it. It is the prerogative. I don't hire and fire anybody either. And I don't have a team to hire or fire anybody. Shad Khan does, and I respect Shad Khan. I just don't think this is a great way to go about it. That's not how I would go about it. That's all I'm saying. I would not go. I would when somebody asks that question,
that's
who
fair.
asked that question?
And that's fair.
Who asked the clean the house question?
I think
I don't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head.
And whoever asked that question wasn't talking about the cafeteria workers. They weren't talking about. They were talking about the general manager. And when you talk about cleaning house, you mean the general manager and the coach.
Let me ask you.
We got to come back.
We're
up against it.
I'm going to ask one question to Pete. Pete answer it when we get back.
Yes.
In the NFL, who's more responsible for the wins and losses, the head coach or the GM?
All right, let me think about it.
Let's talk about that when we come back, because I want to dive into that, because that's part. I'm not trying to dodge anything, and I don't appreciate. I love the Duval people. The one thing I'm not is a turncoat, and Pete, you can kiss where the sun doesn't shine. I've never been paid off, so you can kiss my you know what, and I'll come down there to South Florida and beat you beyond recognition. And so
You're too little.
I trust me. You want to let it go? We can drive your ass up here and let's go.
We're back in a moment. Wow. We're on one today. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way, from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans. Final 5 minutes of the opening hour on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. Jacksonville All Elite Wrestling returns home to Daly's Place for an epic night of professional wrestling. Join us Saturday, January 25th as AEW Collision takes over Daly's. And get your tickets while you still can at AEW.com. There'll be a Pete Briscoe-Tony Vaselli match. Now that would be entertainment. Can you imagine?
No.
Oh, wow.
First of all, if Tony Khan put Pete and I in the ring for an AEW, it would be the most unathletic, unlike
coordinated.
I mean, aerobatic. There'd be no flips and it'd be on the ground, slow motion.
Not only that, we can't. Look, we both lost a bunch of weight, but I ain't taking my damn shirt off.
Oh, I'm fine, Pete. I'm fine taking the shirt off. I'm just not going to move fast enough where I can hurt myself. I can't. It'd be awful.
Go right for the bad hip.
Oh, it's not the hips I'm worried about. It's the shoulder. You'd hit my shoulder and I just crumble. I'd go down. I'm like,
he couldn't lift you up over his head. There's no way with the shoulders.
I'd have to lift you right to my chin. Like, hey, Pete, let's go.
Well, I got him so riled up in the last segment. He was driving down to kick my head.
I know, right?
I still now just a flat street brawl. I'm in. But no,
wow. All right, so the question before break was what is more responsible for wins and losses, head coach or GM? Pete, what's your answer?
Well, the answer to that question, to me, is always the general manager. And if we always go back to what we say, it's Jimmys and Joes and not X's and O's. And so from that standpoint, I will stand by that. It doesn't mean you don't have to have a good coach, because the players got to get developed too. And that has been a problem in Jacksonville. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And I'm not going to sit here and defend Doug Pederson and the development of players and the offensive system and everything else. I'm just not. But ultimately, Talent wins in this league. And so it's general manager much more important.
Got a couple minutes.
I disagree.
Couple
like
minutes.
1,000%. I think the head coach is the more important position. I mean, and
so if you have bad talent,
hold on, Pete.
Or good talent, a bad coach, who's going to have a better team?
I think the good coach with. I think you have to. I think you can have extremes like really good, really bad. But I think good coaching. Good coaching is in the game of football in the NFL more than any other professional sport. The head coach is absolutely critical, and it's also why, Pete, head coaches in this league make probably 2x what general managers make.
Okay. You have Mac Jones and I have Trevor Lawrence because I drafted him and your guy drafted and busted out and took Mac Jones. Who's going to have a better team?
Well, tell me what.
Whether your coach is Bill Belichick in his heyday and my coach is Doug Pederson. Is your team going to be better than mine?
Well, I mean, you're going extreme, so I guess
everything else being equal.
So, like, okay, I'll give you I don't like call it single players. I'll give you an example. Who's more responsible for Detroit, Brad Holmes or Dan Campbell? Brad Holmes.
Yeah, because
you're crazy.
The offense.
You are nuts.
Who's the offensive line? Who made the decision to go get Jared Goff?
Who set the culture? Who set the work ethic? Who set the toughness? Who? Like Jared Goff was a shell of himself. So you're telling me Brad Holmes fixed Jared Goff?
Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl with the Rams.
He was run out of town, and he thought he was getting benched when he went and talked to Dan Campbell. So you're telling me you'd give Brad Holmes credit for fixing Jared Goff more than you? Like, you're out of your mind. Like, you've lost it, Pete. All respect gone. Now I'm really driving down there.
Hour 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour is coming up, including Fanatics fan questions. We'll go around the league. Plenty more to come. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Jet Home Loans.
Since 2014, there's been only one official home builder of the Jaguars, Dreamfinders Homes. With quality-built homes and a speedy move-in process, we're in 20-plus communities in the best locations across Northeast Florida. Dreamfinders Homes is everywhere you want to live. So get off the sidelines, Jags fans, and get into the game. Let Dreamfinders help you navigate your home purchase and offer great interest rates. Visit DreamfindersHomes.com for all your move-in ready homes and step up your game.
Tackle your marketing needs with Kessler Creative. Providing direct mail services for more than a decade, Kessler has a wide range of services from small mailers to large banners and signs. Draft Kessler as your first pick to receive the best targeted mail list. Elevate your business and be on the winning team with Kessler Creative. Kessler Creative. Results-driven marketing and proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's game time, Jaguars fans, and Publix knows that football is all about pairings. A high-scoring offense paired with a stingy defense. A rocket-armed QB paired with a dynamic wide receiver. And at Publix, you can pair hot deli chicken tenders with savory dips, delicious sub-platters with ice-cold beverages, and you can pair these tailgate essentials with an entire parking lot full of Jaguars fans chanting, Duval! Gear up for your tailgate at Publix, the official supermarket of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Start the new year with a fresh look for your home. It's the Renewal by Andersen New Year's Sales Event. For a limited time, save 20% off on our energy-efficient windows and patio doors designed to keep your home comfortable year-round and your energy bills down. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation. But hurry, the special New Year's offer won't last. License number CGC 1527613.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Looking for the perfect place to host a business trip, corporate group, or social gathering? Look no further than the award-winning Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel, proudly part of the Marriott family of hotels. Centrally located next to the St. John's Town Center off Gate Parkway in JTB, they offer everything you need, whether you're hosting a meeting or just unwinding with friends at the BC Grill and Patio. Discover unmatched comfort and convenience. Visit SheratonJacksonville.com for exclusive game day special rates and book your stay today.
You know, what is a complete overhaul of the franchise, okay? We have, I think if you look at it, health and wellness, obviously, of the players, medical, statistics, analysis, scouting, and, number of other elements along with, contract administration. All of those areas, we have really changed, improved, certainly over the last 4 or 5 years. So to change all of that is almost like suicidal. That you've got 85 people working on that side, and you say, I'm going to get rid of them and find 85 new people that are going to be better than that. That's like shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, we need to go to work on something that is broken, that needs to be fixed, and continually be improving things that are working.
That's Jaguars owner Shad Khan earlier today on a Zoom press conference with the media. And it's hour 2 of Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick, Tony Vaselli, Pete Prisco. The second hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game. We're on 1010XL, Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube. The Jaguars have fired head coach Doug Pederson after 3 seasons. Pederson finished 22-29 in the regular season as Jaguars head coach, but finished his tenure 5-18 in his last 23 games. The Jaguars are now into another coaching search. Owner Shad Khan will now have his 6th full-time head coach in what will be his 14th season as the owner coming up in 2025. Started with Mike Mularkey for a year, Gus Bradley for 4 years, Doug Marrone for 4 years, Urban Meyer not even a year, Darrell Bevel was the interim, that doesn't count, and then Doug Pederson the last 3 years on to 2025 and beyond with Trent Baalke as the general manager. He will remain, and Trent Baalke on his alignment with the head coach moving ahead.
I think Doug and I were aligned, very aligned. Had very open and honest conversations with Doug for 3 straight years. So I don't know that the marriage factor, this is a situation where you go out and you pick the best person you can pick. And you go to work, you roll up your sleeves and go to work. Nobody has a crystal ball. Mistakes are made and all the time in this business. And you gotta self-correct. And
that's Trent Baalke, Jaguars general manager, still on with the team, and the Khan-Baalke presser available at Jaguars.com, Jaguars YouTube from earlier today. JP Shadrick, Pete Prisco, Tony Vaselli rehashing everything that has happened the day after the season, and a lot has happened. Doug Pederson is out. The search begins. Tony, here we are.
Yeah, Pete, we finished last hour, Pete, with the conversation, GM or head coach, who's more responsible. And you and I agree on most things about this league, but I just agree with you 100%. The head coach is the most important hire you can make.
Well, let me ask you this, though, Tony. Bill Belichick, football coach, was undone by Bill Belichick, general manager. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that I'm just thinking. Yeah, I think that's right. But I guess my bigger point is, Pete, they're both important. I'm not saying you can do one without the other. But there's a
nor do I believe that. By the way, I think
the question wasn't that. The question was what one's more important to winning.
And the more important to winning is the head coach, and that's why they get paid more. Like, okay, let me ask you a question.
Is it more important?
So let me ask you a question. You had to get rid.
Say it.
No, okay. Let me ask you a question. You had to get rid of one guy, Veach or Andy Reid.
I'd get rid of Andy Reid. I would not.
It's about to have 300 career wins, Pete.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding when I said that. No, but
okay, let me ask you another one. Jim Harbaugh or whoever the GM at the Los Angeles Chargers is.
Would you get rid of Mahomes or Andy Reid? I mean, we can go that one too. I mean, would you take Mahomes?
No, you're missing.
Wait.
No, Pete.
Mahomes.
First of all,
Mahomes is the guy who found Mahomes, because the guy who found Mahomes is Brett Veach.
Well, but
Brett
so you don't think Andy Reid had anything to do with the picking of Mahomes? Come on, Pete. You know better.
Go back and listen to all the stories. Brett Veach was.
I'm not saying he
made him.
I'm not saying that, but you're telling me they picked a quarterback without Andy Reid signing off on it.
No,
Come on,
of course
Pete.
Not.
Come on. You don't get a pull in Patrick Mahomes.
But you're saying that the coach is more important than the talent.
No, I didn't say that. First of all, if you do this right, the coaching staff is a part of the evaluation and the picking of the players.
So, that's not always the case.
That's how it works at most organizations. I shouldn't say most, a lot. So let me ask you. Let's go through this. Let's go through the playoff teams. So you don't think that Dan Campbell has any say in who they pick? You think Brad Holmes? Hold on. You think Brad? I'm just asking a question. Brad Holmes just goes to behind a curtain and just picks okay, Dan, this is who you get. Let me go to another one. So we know Andy Reid has input. I'm not even going to go there. You don't think Jim Harbaugh has a say in who they pick in Los Angeles?
Who had the input when you were playing?
Well, Tom was everything. He was both.
Right. So.
But but that's a different model, Pete. He was the GM and head coach, and the cook and the chief marketing officer
painted the hallways.
Was he more important to you as a coach or the general manager of that team?
To the coach. He's the head coach. As a coach, he set the culture, the standard, what we did, how we did it.
But if you could set a standard with 22 JPs and you ain't winning.
But Pete, you're missing the bigger point.
Wow.
No, I'm not missing the point.
Catching strays.
You're acting like these GMs pick guys in a vacuum with no input from the coaching staff.
I'm saying, but ultimately the GM, if he's the person at the head of the department, he has the decision-making power.
I get that, but you're asking me, like, Andy Reid or Brett Veach? I'll take Andy Reid. Jim Harbaugh or whoever the GM at the Chargers is. I'll take Jim Harbaugh. I can go down the list.
But that's not what your question.
Yeah,
was.
That was the question. Which is more important?
Which question is ultimately more important
for winning?
Talent.
No, I didn't say talent, Pete. That's not what I said. You're acting like the GM picks the talent all by themselves.
He does. He does most of the time. No. He makes the final decisions.
Yeah, who has the veto power? Remember when Coughlin was around?
A great question.
That was the question they asked Tom Coughlin or asked Shad Khan, and Tom wouldn't answer it, and Shad had to be asked again. He's like, "Yeah, well, Tom." So who would be that in this case?
I don't actually know. And to Pete's point, this is fair. I actually don't know who had final say between Doug and Trent.
Right.
I don't know that.
Trent did.
You don't know that, Pete.
Trent did.
You don't know that. You're saying that. You don't know that.
Why do you say that, Pete?
Yeah. Okay. Tell me why. That's a better question. Thank you, JP.
Because he's the general manager. You can look at who the players he picked and figure out who picked them.
So let me ask you a question.
He had the final say.
Well, if that's the case, if our coaching staff, because I don't know this, if our coaching staff had no say and Doug had no say.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay. Yes, you are. If they were not involved in the process and their opinion did not matter or was not included in the weighting of who we pick, then that's a problem, and that should change. And that's not okay. I would disagree with that. I would agree with you. I would tell Trent Tuesday, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, just like the player personnel director,
but you don't.
But he ain't making a decision.
But you don't know that, Pete. Is my point. You don't know how much input Doug or his staff had. I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. I really am having a hard time figuring you out today.
I'm not defending Trent here, Pete. I'm just saying. I'm going back to the question. It was a simple question. What is more important, the head coach or the GM?
Well, what's more important is talent than the head coach.
That's not the question, Pete.
It is a question
because
the GM brings the talent in.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, let's go. I'm going to give a real. Let's go outside the Jaguars. The Los Angeles Chargers. Are they a better team with Jim Harbaugh as their head coach than whatever?
Joe Horitz is the GM, by the way.
Okay, are they a better head coach this year? Are they improved over last year with Jim Harbaugh as their coach?
Yes.
Okay. What additions did they make on talent-wise?
Ladd McConkey.
Oh, okay. Before we go to Ladd McConkey, they got rid of a all-pro receiver
who can't run anymore.
Okay, they also got rid of a Pro Bowl or borderline Pro Bowl receiver, Mike Williams. They also
coming off a knee.
Okay, I'm just stating they also got rid of.
They had a second-year player who's gotten better.
Hold on,
Johnson,
they also got rid of Austin Eckler, their leading back.
And it's just another back, J.K. Dobbins, same thing.
My question is: so, are they better because they got more talent, or are they better because Jim Harbaugh came in and changed the culture as the head coach?
Well, they're also better because Justin Herbert's healthy. He wasn't healthy last year.
Pete, you are being disingenuous right now.
They run the ball a bunch early in the year.
Talent rules the roost. It always will.
I'm not saying that. You're missing my point. I'm hoping that the head coach has I'm literally saying I don't know. But if I were to find out that the head coach, like Doug Pederson and his staff, had no say in who they were picking and the players that came here, that would be a problem to me. That makes no sense.
But no say in what? Because Coughlin used to have input from everybody, and he'd have the final say and make the final decision.
Okay.
So input is fine. Look, if I'm the general manager of that team, I want every scout, every personnel guy to give me their input and not be a yes man. I want every coach who's doing the work on their players to give me the input and not be a yes man. And if you think you like a player, tell me. I'm going back and doing more work on him. But ultimately, I'm making the final decision.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. I guess it'd be interesting, Pete, and I don't know the answer to this, is of the 53 guys on the roster of this football team, how many of those players of whoever were acquired over the last 3 years when Doug Pederson and Trent worked together, what percentage of those players that came in over that 3-year period or left did Doug Pederson and his staff just violently were against? And Trent just picked them anyways.
Oh, no.
I don't either. It'd be an interesting question. I guess in a functioning organization, that number should be as close to zero as possible.
Well, that's never the case, though. And that's why you have the issues with the egos in every building.
Pete, listen, I said as close to zero as possible. Because if you're ultimately someone has to make the call. I agree with you, Pete, there. But good leadership is finding and figuring out how to get to the right answer together, because both of you are in it together. And it just doesn't work if you go pick a guy that the coaching staff doesn't want, or the coaching staff gets a guy that the scouting department
doesn't think
can play. But it happens all the
time.
Pete, you and I have talked about this. This is where you and I agree. My question is, and I'm assuming these are the questions that Shad has asked, because as you make these decisions, you'd want this information so you can make an informed decision. I don't have it, is my point, Pete. It'd be interesting. Because it goes to your point, Pete. This is actually would solve our who's more important. Because if that's wildly different, you can't answer the question I'm asking, what's more important, the GM or the head coach, because they're not on the same page. My point is, my assumption in that question is like, there's I'm not saying 100% alignment, because to Pete's point, there's never is. There's always going to be differences. But it's close. It's 95. And at that point, then it's all about that head coach. That head coach is the most important thing in the building.
Well, here's the other part of it. You're right about coach and the GM working together, and yet not everyone, but in many of these buildings, they start out working together, and then the fraying starts. Either you have success and the egos get in the way.
It's true.
Or the GM drafts a player and the coach doesn't develop him and he blames him, and then the coaches start saying, you're not getting me talent, and all of a sudden you have rip inside the building. Okay, it happens all the time in this league. So that's the reason I'm sitting here making this case that if that happens, and it happens where guys come in together, why not start over again so you can avoid that?
Back in a moment. Fanatics.
Pete, that's a fair question, Pete. That's a good. I mean, let's dig into that when we come back, because I want to unpack that more, and I'd be curious to understand. And I guess we'll never know. I'm sure Shad looked into this. How did Trent and Doug work together? Because I had to go into weighing the decision to let one go and not both, because he felt like Trent was doing a good enough job as far as the procurement side of the business. And that really was the coaching side, right? I mean, Pete, that's what the decision sounds like.
We'll get into that when we come back. We've got Fanatics fan questions a little later. We got to go around the league. We got to say goodbye for the season as well. That's all ahead. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
It's not about how you start the job. It's about finishing what you start. The Ford F-150 truck can help. Get the freedom to choose between available gas, PowerBoost Hybrid, or all-electric powertrains, all delivering the power, capability, and efficiency needed to get the job done right. Just another reason why Ford F-Series is the best-selling truck in America 47 straight years. Ford F-150, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's here that a tiny newborn has the heart surgery needed to save her life. It's here that a first grader learns to speak clearly and confidently. It's here that a 12-year-old athlete builds the strength to run full speed again. It's here at Wolfson Children's Hospital that answers are found, courage is shown, and odds are beaten every day. Wolfson Children's, always here. Visit wolfsonchildrens.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com. The world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com. Officially licensed everything.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans. Looking for the perfect place to host a business trip, corporate group, or social gathering? Look no further than the award-winning Sheraton Jacksonville Hotel, proudly part of the Marriott family of hotels. Centrally located next to the St. John's Town Center off Gate Parkway in JTB, they offer everything you need, whether you're hosting a meeting or just unwinding with friends at the BC Grill and Patio. Discover unmatched comfort and convenience. Visit SheridanJacksonville.com for exclusive game day special rates and book your stay today.
Obviously, it's unfortunate because at the end of the day, we all had a hand in this season and just how the way things have shaken out. I have a ton of respect for Doug. He's made me a better football player, a better man, and I think he's one of the better coaches to have coached in this league. And it's just unfortunate the way that things went, but obviously the organization has to make a decision that they feel is best going forward.
It's Christian Kirk, Jaguars wide receiver, in the locker room earlier today. And welcome back. It's Jaguars Happy Hour. Hour number 2, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. JP Shadrick with Tony Baselli from the Hyundai Studios inside the Miller Electric Center. Pete Prisco is down in South Florida. We've got Fanatics fan questions coming up, but a lot on the plate today.
Hey, by the way, I got to ask you this.
Yeah.
Did the quarterback not talk today?
Trevor Lawrence was not in the locker room during media time. I'll say that. I don't know if he was in the building or what. I think they just had the baby.
Very interesting.
Pete, it's not what you think. He was not. And I'm not going to get into why. It's no one's business. But it's not. There's no scandalous story behind it, Pete, is my point. Trust me. I'm just telling you.
Well, you must have thought it then if you found out why.
No, I didn't even know he didn't speak until it was told to me why he didn't. So there's nothing scandalous. Nothing. There's no story there is my point.
Did anybody talk to Doug?
I don't know about that.
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
So what we ended the last segment. I mean, I think Pete, one of the things, and I get, by the way, your position, and it's the position of our fans that are not happy that there was not a complete cleaning of the house. I get it. I mean, I'm getting just attacked right now
from all sides.
From all sides, I am attacked because I'm
surrounded.
I am not leading with torches and pitchforks the execution of Trent Baalke. I mean, people want him gone.
They called you a turncoat.
They called me a turncoat.
I mean, that's like as bad as it comes.
Who called you a turncoat?
I just got tweeted. Somebody on Twitter tweeted me and said, "Hey, Tony's a turncoat."
Oh, I got all kinds of things in my X feed over the last hour and a half, Pete, since we've had the show, and I get it. Understood. I understand. There's blood in the water. My point is, the evaluation was done, and you can disagree with it, but the evaluation done by Shad felt like the area that needed to be addressed immediately was the head coach. And I fine. And I'm not saying that what Trent has done is above criticism over the last 3+ years he's been here. I'm not saying that at all. I mean, it's fair to be critical. We have not won enough games. And because of that, at the end of the day, that's what we're all judged by in this business. Players, coaches, and GMs, front office people, owners. That's what you're judged by. And when you don't hit the standard, there's demand from the fan base of changing. My only point is if you look at it, you have an owner, while you might not be fully satisfied because the GM's still here, made a decision that a lot of other teams in similar situations did not and stood pat on their head coach. And it's not like Doug Pederson does not have success and has not done good things. But Shad felt like it was not good enough. And I think making these blanket, and this is why I had to ask the conversation to Pete, what's more important, the head coach or the GM? And Pete and I agree, by the way, talent it's Jimmy's and Joe's at the end of the day. And who needs to be also included in this accountability. And if you're a fan, and I've been one of these guys, it's the players. You should hold them accountable too. They didn't play good enough. They did not. Well,
they didn't do anything good enough.
That's my point, Pete. And so it has to be better across the board. And if you listen to Shad's press conference, he's very clear. It needs to get better. It's not good enough. Right now, I believe the decision to move into a new head coach direction is going to solve the problem. I'm comfortable with that. However, if someone brings a better decision or better solution or structure or whatever, I'm wide open because I just want to win. I mean, what else do you want from an owner?
Well, you could have started anew.
What?
You could have started anew. Let's go back to what we were saying before the break about the egos and the friction and the relationships and the GM and the coach and the front office being blaming the personnel staff, blaming the coaches for not developing, the coaches blaming the personnel staff for not getting them players. That goes on in every single building. So all I'm saying is, Tony, when you're starting anew, if you're starting as a new head coach and you're going into a building and you're being forced to work with somebody who you're not necessarily aligned with or comfortable with or even know very well, and the whole thing up even more to have problems.
Not always, Pete.
Would you agree?
Not always.
Oh, we're just going to come in. Why? Because every guy that's ever left that's worked with Trent Baalke has gone out. Oh, it was wonderful. Let's see. Chip Kelly? No. Harbaugh? No. Jim Tomsula? No. Urban Meyer? No. Dave Caldwell?
Can we
No.
include Urban Meyer? I mean, Trent Baalke did not stay in Cincinnati and
but he was
Columbus,
involved
but
in the
okay.
hiring.
But I know, but no, I'm just telling you. Like set aside Urban. I will let you go with the rest. Urban Meyer stayed behind after Thursday night football to hang out and have his hands wander to areas of a female that was not his wife in a
Right.
bar.
I get it. I get it.
Like you
He
can't
made it.
put that on Trent Baalke. That is not Trent's
can't-
fault.
no, you can't-
I've
you
been
can't
as
put that
critical
on
as anybody of Trent, of good, bad, and different. And I have a real
Okay, but
issue
let's-
of
but let's
blaming
take-
him for Urban Meyer, Pete. That's ridiculous.
But let's take the little escapade at the bar out of the equation. He wasn't any good to begin with, was he?
Yeah, but you're making the assumption that was Trent's hire.
That steakhouse is closed, by the way. That's another story.
He was part of it.
Pete, I think you're making assumptions. I just don't know if it's true.
He was part of it. And so, okay, so let's just say every guy that's ever worked with him has had a problem with him that coaches, right?
That's the perception,
There's
yes.
been issues. Right, of course.
Yep.
So why would you subject a new coach and a new guy that you're trying to change the culture, and like you talk about, to having somebody left that was part of the bad culture?
Did you
like his point is if
No,
everybody's
I know, but
all in it
I was
together.
making sure he's done because I couldn't tell if his internet went out again or if he's done talking.
No, I was done.
Okay.
You didn't want to answer the question.
No, I did not. No, that's not at all, Pete. I thought you froze. Literally, you had that weird.
I think
you had that dumb look on your face, and I thought it was frozen.
Yeah. If they're all in it together, then why are they not all out of it together?
That's a fair question. And
if it's a team, hey, we're all in this thing together, then why is one person out and one person in?
and
that's
there's
the big question I think a lot of people have.
And that's a fair question. And I don't have a good answer for that because I think that would have been a good question to ask Shad. I don't know. I wasn't part of the decision-making process. And I get that. And by the way, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people in the league feel that the GM and the head coach should be in it together. And if you fire one, you fire the other.
And by the way, most general managers don't get 3 coaches.
They usually get 2.
Or 5 picks, including 2 first overall.
But just in fair, and Pete brings up a fair point, and it's a fair question, but doesn't happen like that everywhere. Like Howie Roseman up in Philly has been the head coach, been the GM for a lot of head coaches. 3 off the top of my head I can think of. Maybe it's more. How many has Howie been the GM for in Philly, Pete? Chip,
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni, Doug Pederson. Anyone else? Who was before Chip? Was he the head coach? Was Howie the GM before Chip?
I think so.
I do too.
I got to look at it. But okay, but he's won.
Pete, I get that. No. Well, and I think the reason that Trent got so much leeway in San Francisco because with Jim Harbaugh, he went to 3 NFC championships and a Super Bowl. So he won there.
But if he had just left it alone, if they had just stayed together, they would have continued to win and probably would have won a Super Bowl. But of course, they had to start going at each other.
And
that's the problem.
I get that, but I'm speaking to the point of why has he got more. I think you make a fair point. I'm actually agreeing with you because most of the time you don't get that many head coaches.
How about Mickey
and in
Loomis?
In fairness to Baalke, Jim Harbaugh's not the easiest guy in the world to work with either.
He's a different.
But by the way, he's a dang good head coach.
They're winning.
Gosh, he's a good head coach.
What about Mickey Loomis in New Orleans?
Bottom line is, JP.
Yeah, it's another good one. He's been around
you know
forever.
what they did today? They firmly pointed the finger at Doug Pederson.
I cannot argue that, Pete. I can't.
They absolved the general manager of any of the blame.
I disagree with that. I did not hear him.
Wake up his job.
It doesn't seem like a glowing endorsement, that Zoom call
That's
today,
exactly
by the way.
right, Pete. I don't think that was a glowing endorsement like, hey, like I'm happy with everything going on.
Yeah.
I mean, he literally said in the press conference at the end, if someone has like I'm wide open, I want to win. I mean, Pete, you brought that up as well. Was that not said?
It was said, but he also said he might be bringing somebody above, right? Did he not?
He also said that too. So, like, I guess my bigger point is, let's all take a deep breath. Like, there's a lot of runway still in front of us, a lot of road to travel, and so let's get down the road a little bit further and see how this thing plays out. But
the road that's been traveled has been driven off the cliff by the guy who's still making the decisions. Whoop, right over the side.
Well, wait a second. What guy?
Football decisions right now. As we speak, who's making the football decisions?
Head coach. Picking the head coach is Shad Khan, not Trent.
So who's making the football decisions for the organization as we speak right now?
Like if they're signing futures guys and all that stuff.
Fire somebody, cut somebody, who's making those decisions? Right.
Well, it depends at the level. At some level, I think it still goes through Shad, Pete. I think Trent has good. I don't think Trent's going to make it. Let's use an example. I don't think Trent has the ability to go trade Josh Hines Allen for somebody else or picks or anything else without Shad signing off on it.
Of course not. But again, he's the one who's going to make that decision to bring it to him. Is he not?
Today, yes. That's exactly right. Yes.
See, and here's something I'm going to say right now, and I said this all season long. When Shad came out and made the comment about the best team ever put together in Jaguars history, whether he said that in history or since he's been here, that information came from the general manager. And when it comes from the general manager, who's ultimately behind and who's ultimately responsible for it doesn't work? Well, it played out exactly that way. It didn't work, and who got fired? Not the guy who had the talented roster, the best in the history of mankind. They got fired was the coach and not the general manager.
You're right about that, and you and I have talked at length on this show. We both disagree with the comment, whether it's looking at the history of the Jaguars or even just since Shad's been the owner. I don't think I said this before going into the season. I didn't think this was the most talented roster.
But where did Shad get that from?
Again, Pete. The only thing I know.
Doug claimed it wasn't him.
The only thing I know is Doug didn't tell him that
because no coach is ever going to put himself in the bullseye like that. Never. We got the most talented team we've ever had.
He did not.
And then you win 4 games out the door.
I don't know if it was Trent or maybe it was somebody on Trent's team. I don't know who said it, Pete. I really don't.
Let's come back.
Because I got a plot of land in the middle of the Everglades that you might be interested in buying. The same thing. Come on, you know who said it.
I don't.
It's waterfront property, though, Pete.
Yeah.
Does it have a
There's
view?
A lot of boas around.
Does it have a view? Is it a good view?
Yeah, the view is snakes all over the place.
Close to wildlife. Back in a moment. Fanatics fan questions when we return. It's Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Brooks Rehabilitation is proud to be the official rehabilitation partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are here for them, and we are here for you. Ranked #1 physical rehabilitation hospital in Florida by U.S. News and World Report, our playbook is individualized treatment and exceptional care to get you back to living your life. Brooks has cutting-edge technology and therapy solutions in every care setting, treating sports injury, orthopedics, brain, spinal injuries, and more. Go beyond your expectations with Brooks Rehabilitation.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jacksonville builders score big with DL Cabinetry. As the official cabinet supplier of the Jacksonville Jaguars, they offer top quality kitchen and bathroom cabinetry for any project. Enjoy fast turnaround, complimentary design, and great prices. Visit dlcabinetry.com today to learn more and to become a dealer. Limited spots available. DL Cabinetry, the winning choice for builders.
Hey Jags fans, stop dreaming of creating your game day fan cave and build the Jaguars den of your dreams with ZipChair. When it comes to maximum comfort, ZipChair.com is the only place for officially licensed Jaguars recliners, sofas, bar stools, office and gaming chairs, all featuring high-quality embroidered Jags logos. Crack open a few cold ones in the comfort of a ZipChair and make your home the place to be on game day. Head over to ZipChair.com and save 20% today. Use code JagsRadio at checkout. ZipChair.com, furniture for fans.
The Jaguars bring performance, strength, and passion to every play. And you'll find the same when you bank with Everbank. Open an Everbank Performance Savings account and score serious savings. See what you could earn at everbank.com/Jaguars. Everbank, advantage you. Member FDIC and the official bank of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's definitely something that me personally I don't want to hear. Doug, I think he's a great coach. He's done some great things for this organization, and he's a great guy, great coach. Like I said, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, but you know, it's life. We all faced with obstacles in life, and we just got to keep going.
It's Trayvon Walker in the locker room today. His reaction to the Doug Pederson firing earlier. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour. JP Shadrick with Pete Prisco and Tony Baselli, and it is time now for the Fanatics fan questions. Jaguars fans gear up at fanatics.com with all the latest Jag styles. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything. We put the cat call out earlier on X. Here's the best we've come up with. At Coach K. Sowers, do you think Brian Thomas Jr. saved Baalke's job?
I do not.
No.
I do not.
No, he did not. But you could go back and say, should this guy have gotten him fired? You don't do that. So no, did not save it.
And here and this isn't just a Trent issue or about Trent. This is overall. I would love, and I don't know the answer to this. Where do you think Brian Thomas Jr. was on their board as far as receivers?
Was he their top guy, or was
There's no chance.
Neighbors above him or whoever above him?
Okay.
Yeah, it was probably like everybody else in the league. They probably had Harrison and Neighbors.
He was probably fourth.
Maybe Odunze was ahead of him.
I mean, most likely. I mean, okay, but let's say
they'll never admit that.
They won't. Okay, let's say
he was our guy all the way.
Let's say they had him really high, and you knew he was going to be this good. Then would you risk trading down 3 times?
Yeah.
Right. No.
They got all those extra picks for next year.
Okay, let me go back one more. Let me go one more.
The new GM will move. The new GM will use when they bring him in.
Let me go back one more thing. If you knew, like, here's the other thing: we would have never drafted Brian Thomas Jr. if Calvin Ridley at the 23rd hour didn't take a deal from the Titans because he was signing here.
And yet you just sit there and defend the hell out of the decision to keep the guy.
I'm not. No, I'm just saying this is the big. My whole point is this isn't about Trent. It's the whole league.
It is.
No, Pete, it's not. I'm making the case that you have to look at the whole thing from the whole league. Sometimes teams luck into. I'll give you another example. Baltimore Ravens, who's one of the best organization. Ozzie Smith, one of the best GMs.
Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie
Smith.
He's a
For
shortstop.
the St. Louis
shortstop for the Cardinals.
The Wizard of Oz.
Ozzie Newsome, one of the great GMs in the history of this league. John Harbaugh, great head coach. The new GM under
Eric DaCosta.
Eric DaCosta, another really good, was groomed under Ozzie. Great front office, great organization. I love how they do it. They have an identity. They know who they are. They draft people.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted. So you think they knew Lamar Jackson was going to be Lamar Jackson drafting 31st?
32nd.
32nd? No. If they did, they would have traded up and figured it out. Now, I'll give the Chiefs credit because they had conviction that Pat Mahomes was going to be Pat Mahomes, and they traded to go get him.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens were fortunate. Now, once they got him, what they did a great job of doing is building a system that helped him develop and took advantage of his skills early. My point is, do you think Bill Belichick that knew Tom Brady was going to be the greatest quarterback ever?
No, they got lucky.
They got lucky. He was a 6th rounder. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes the ball bounces your way. That's all I'm saying, Pete.
Yeah, but you also go spend a boatload of money on a bunch of free agents that don't really give you any bang on your
I'm not talking about this year, Pete. I wasn't even talking about Trent.
I'm just talking in general. I'm talking about this team.
I'm not. I was just talking about in general. Like, I always love that these fans and us talking heads make these comments like, did Brian Thomas save his job? Like, I think we got a little bit fortunate.
Little detail. Didn't the Ravens trade back up to 32nd to get that last pick in 2018? I think they did, Pete.
Didn't somebody pass on Lamar Jackson?
Everybody
right
did.
Before that,
everyone did.
No, but wasn't
teams.
there a certain team? Wasn't there a certain team that passed on him right before that?
Well, yeah, a couple picks before. Got a big defensive tackle.
My point is, JB, I don't know if they traded back up in or not.
I think they did. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah. My point is,
just to correct,
if they thought he was going to be a 3-time MVP, they would have gone up to 5. Yeah. Everyone would have. That's my only point. Yeah. I mean,
you're right. You're right. You get lucky in the draft sometimes. You can do all the evaluation and the work you want, but sometimes
that's my whole point, Pete. The draft, like free agency, is different because you have a body of work. The draft sometimes, and Pete, you know this as well as anybody because you crap out all the time in the drafts, as I do, of making like these statements.
Everybody craps out. The teams crap out.
Everyone does. It's rolling the dice.
By the way, I did the Ravens game Saturday. I'm looking at their offensive line. Like 6 of the 8 guys that were on the roster are all drafted by Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a philosophy. That's why I love them. They do it the right way. If I was going to be critical about anything, it's like, why haven't we developed offensive linemen here? Now, am I just pointing the finger at Trent? No. That's picking and developing. That's coaching and scouting. That's both. We have not done a good enough job there.
Next question. On X, Fanatics fan questions. Love Tony, but he's a mouthpiece for the Jags. Pete is the only voice of reason. My question is, what has Trent Baalke accomplished that has made the team better?
How did I go to like?
They're all over you.
I'm a turncoat mouthpiece. Pete's making accusations on getting paid off today. I got a bonus. I mean, what the?
You're taking you down in the Ring of Honor.
I mean, they're like everything.
I mean, a ceremony. It's coming down if you don't talk well about the organization.
Just don't say I've got a bonus, because then my wife is going to be like, "Where's the money you got paid for all this?" Pete said you got paid. I didn't get paid anything.
And you know what? She'd probably rather have the Ring of Honor thing come down than not get the bonus.
It's true. True. I don't appreciate them. Like, you know what? Let me say this.
The question is.
Yeah. And I'll let Pete answer it. To be clear to everyone who's saying I'm a turncoat mouthpiece or anything else, just to be clear.
That wasn't the question. But okay.
No, I know, but I'm going to speak to it. I'm going to lean in and towards defending this organization. And if you haven't figured that out yet, then you're not very smart. I love this place. I work for this place. I believe in this place. And I want this place to be great. I think Shad Khan, I don't agree with everything. Like, has he got everything right? No. But I think he's one hell of an owner, and I think we're very fortunate to have him as an owner.
And I would agree with that.
So,
100%.
like, if you want to call me a
that's what makes it a great job, by the way.
This is the best job in the NFL, and I will say that. I think it's still the best job with Trent Baalke as the GM. And I've disagreed with Trent at times. I've agreed with him. I mean, nobody's perfect. But if you like, just so you know, if you're going to listen to the show, and so you can stop texting or tweeting or Xing or posting stupid stuff, it's not me being a turncoat. I'm not getting paid extra. I work for this organization. I love this organization. And when it comes to that, the chips are on the table, I'm going to bat for this organization because I believe in it, and I believe we will win a championship here, and I'm going to be a part of it when it happens. So.
And you know me, I'm going to tell it like it is, and I'm telling it like it is.
But Pete,
I'm not going to hold that back.
And Pete, I love it. I'm telling you, and I could be wrong, and I could have teal-colored glasses on, no doubt about it. I've been called the sunshine pumper. I've been called all kinds of things in this.
Oh, we left that one out today.
Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come back up.
That's for the morning.
I usually get that one too.
But I'm just telling you.
Giving it to you.
Hey, I got a few more questions. We'll get them in pretty quick.
But let Pete answer the question.
What has Trent Baalke accomplished that has made the team better?
Hey, look, he's done some good things. Brian Thomas is one of them. It's not like he hasn't done anything good.
The Walker Little deal turned out to be a dang good deal based on the market.
We'll see how he plays for a full season, Tony. You can't just say 3 games. It's a great deal.
Pete, he's getting paid $13 million a year. A $13 million starting tackle.
Okay, what if he goes into next season? He's a turnstile.
He's not going to be that. Give me a break, Pete.
All right, next question. At Way 2 Feng Shui, please ask Pete to unblock me. It's been 10 years.
What did he do? Look, I'll find him. I'll find out why he blocked me. I'll probably unblock him.
Wow.
Unblock him, Pete. Don't be such a curmudgeon.
Itchy trigger finger, Pete.
Pete will block you in a second. Oh my goodness, I love watching Pete. I'm not listening
to your garbage unless you want to talk football and give me crap about football. But if you're going to get nasty, you're going.
I love it.
Next question,
Pete. Let me ask you, Pete. Should I block a bunch of people calling me turncoat and everything else?
Nah, unless the truth hurts.
Oh man! Oh wow! How sensitive are we?
First of all, I guarantee you, Pete would be blocking people based on the X posts I got today.
Probably so.
And I will not block any of you. I love you all.
22. We have had a draft and develop problem for decades. How do you fix that?
That's a whole show
on its own.
So like we don't have time. But yes.
And it goes back to what we said earlier in the year, Tony. Who got better? So the coaching staff is every bit as to blame as the general manager too.
You have to. I'm going to say this about the development. You have to be purposeful. It doesn't happen. You have to be purposeful. You have to take advantage of the time you have under the CBA. You have to structure it. I mean, it has to be like from everything you do on the field, off the field, in the weight room, nutrition, development. Like you have to maximize your time, and you got to have you have to be very detail oriented and plan for it. And I just don't think we've done a great job.
Other teams do it.
Yes,
other teams have success doing
they do.
Developing and drafting, and getting guys better.
Yep.
And
I'm just glad that they're not getting rid of anybody in the cafeteria to clean house. That's all. That's going to make my day. And by the way, I heard DeRocco ask that question.
Oh, it was D-Rock.
It was D-Rock, yeah.
Yeah, it was D-Rock. That'll do it. That's Fanatics fan questions for the day. We had plenty of submissions today. These are the ones we can air. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
keep them coming at Tony. He needs it. He deserves it.
Yeah, Tony will not block anybody.
I'm not gonna. I will not block any of you. You can say all the bad things you want to say about me. I don't care.
We'll come back in a moment and take a look at the playoff schedule. Yes, it's wild card week coming up. We'll get to those games.
And we gotta say goodbye.
Yeah, and we have to say goodbye. Yes, we do. And yet we've already said goodbye to Tony. His microphone's off. This is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.
Mr. Chubby's Wings is a whole lot more than just wings. Craving the ultimate game day experience? Look no further. Swing by Mr. Chubby's and indulge in the biggest and best wings in town, all while soaking up the lively atmosphere with fellow sports fans. With plenty of game day specials and locations on the West Side, Fleming Island, Ponte Vedra Beach, and new this season, Everbank Stadium, they're here for all your game day needs. Mr. Chubby's Wings is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mr. Chubby's Wings, before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Navigating the current housing market and figuring out your best move when it comes to a mortgage isn't your full-time job, but it's one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's where the experts at Jet Home Loans get into the game and coach you to your ultimate goal of getting not just the right loan, but the perfect loan for you, the home of your dreams. Jet Home Loans works with you all the way from application to closing, making sure your game plan is perfect. Make the call to Jet Home Loans and let their team join your team to make your dreams take flight. Visit jethl.com.
Ranked as the nation's best public university by the Wall Street Journal, the University of Florida is on a mission to transform education. UF continues to help grow the economy through research breakthroughs and leadership in AI. And with its nationally recognized career services, UF students and graduates have never been better prepared to make a difference in the world. To learn more about how the University of Florida fuels bold ideas that make an impact around the globe, visit fromflorida.ufl.edu.
Are you ready to love how you feel, look, and live in every season? At Elase, we offer more than just luxury med spa treatments. We provide a serene, judgment-free space where you can reconnect with the best version of you. Whether you want to refresh your natural look with Botox or Dysport, pamper yourself with a relaxing hydrofacial, or rejuvenate your complexion with laser resurfacing, our expert team in Jacksonville is here to tailor treatments to your needs. Visit Elase.com today and start your journey to loving yourself.
You love free. And at Ameris Bank, so do we. That's why we're proud to offer worry-free, hassle-free Ameris Bank free checking. Manage your money your way with convenient access to digital, mobile, and telephone banking, all with no monthly service fee or minimum balance requirements. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. For more information or to open an account, visit our local bankers in person or online at amerisbank.com/free checking. Other fees such as overdraft fees may apply. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Frank Frangie here. When you want barbecue in Jacksonville, you want Bono's Pit Barbecue. You can find Bono's locations all around town and on game day at Everbank Stadium, because Bono's is the official barbecue of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Over 70 years of authentic Southern Pit Barbecue. We are the local barbecue joint in BBQval for generations of people in Jacksonville. Go to bonosbarbq.com to learn more or call 904-880-8310 today. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
I'm gonna move back inside next year. That's gonna be my plan. That was what I wanted to do, this season as well too. But there's situations that you have to deal with, in this league, and so I'm gonna switch back inside, which was what I wanted to do this season, and I'm gonna be back playing to, an elite player that I know I can be.
It's Eric Armstead in the locker room during clean-out day today. Wants to move back inside. Welcome back. It is Jaguars Happy Hour presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings. And for 11 years, Dreamfinders Homes has been proud to call themselves the official home builder of the Jags. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for all the available inventory and go Jags.
Can we talk about that clip right there?
Yes.
Because, Pete, did you hear what Eric Armstead said?
He wants to move back inside.
No, but
they made him play outside.
I'm fine with what he said. He wants to play inside next year. I'm still trying to figure out. He said he wanted to play inside this year.
Right.
Like, so who made him play outside? Because we thought, like, you and I both thought, because this is what kind of we were told, it was Trent that. But it sounds like it was the coaching staff wanted him outside.
Well, and part of the reason was because, like you said, all year they didn't have anybody. Maybe out of necessity, but he should have pushed back harder on that. I'm not an end. I'm a defensive interior player.
Out of everything we've talked about today, that was the most shocking comments of the weekend.
That's why he was saying it earlier in the locker room, and I was like, this sounds weird. So you mean you're going to move inside or outside? I asked him, and that was the answer.
It's honestly the most fascinating thing I've heard. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you wanted to be outside, or Trent put you outside, or like it sounds like the coaches were making you play outside. Like, what?
Yeah. So was the whole staff relieved of their duties today, by the way?
I don't know because, Pete, I don't know the official because, for everyone listening, the only thing we know is that Doug was let go. The rest of the coaches are still under contract, so it's the team's discretion to keep them under contract while they go look for a new head coach, that the new head coach can keep guys if he wants to keep them. So I don't know.
Some of those guys have 3 years on their deal.
So they have 2 years left.
Like
just the defensive
staff, yeah.
Yeah. Well, some of them will have expiring contracts, though.
Well, I know 2 for sure have expiring contracts on offense.
Right. So that was never a good situation to begin with. That's a whole nother issue. But I'm curious to think who would – the special teams have been great. Maybe you keep that
I'd keep Heath for sure.
They've been really good.
My recommendation to a head coach coming in, a new head coach, is I would definitely interview Heath, and I'd keep Heath if I was you. I think he did an outstanding job.
He's done a great job.
Let's get to the wild card weekend games.
Really quick, because I want to say goodbye to everyone.
Okay,
I'm sad.
Let's get through the games fast. We'll just pick them real quick. Chargers at Texans. It's the 4:30 early Saturday game.
Chargers. They always put the AFC South at 4:30 on Saturday.
Unless we play, because we played at night against the Chargers.
Oh, yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's right.
So keep going.
Steelers at the Ravens at 8 o'clock.
Ravens.
Yeah, Steelers stink right now.
Yep.
Sunday, 1 o'clock, Broncos at the Bills.
Bills.
Sunday, 4:30, the Packers at the Eagles.
Ooh, Eagles. It's a good game.
I wish Watson wasn't hurting out for the year, but I took the Packers before the season. I'm sticking with them. Hurts is coming off concussion. That worries me, and he hasn't been cleared yet.
Yeah.
This could be one of the best games of the entire first round.
This is going to be great.
Commanders at Buccaneers.
I'm going Bucks.
Last one with the football wins, and I'm going Bucks.
Yep.
Pinball football coming up in Tampa. And then Monday night, the Vikings at the Rams.
I think the Rams win because I think the Vikings are going to be down emotionally after a tough game against the Lions. It was physical. They lost. It was closer than the score because they didn't execute in the red zone. But I think a little bit of wind is out of their sails, not getting that 1 seed. And I think Sean McVay's done a great job. I think the Rams win.
I think the Rams win too. And are we seeing Sam Darnold become Sam Darnold?
I don't think so, Pete. I think that's just it was a good football team. 2 good teams on the road, and they just didn't execute in the red zone.
Yeah,
and
he overthrew guys in the red zone. That's why.
What if he doesn't play well this week?
Well, then that's a different story.
So now we're back to that. Okay, that's all it takes. One playoff game.
That's it.
One playoff game is all it takes.
Dude, it's what have you done for me lately in this league? Especially
you still get paid in this offseason.
Especially if you're a quarterback.
Somebody will pay him.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah, the Vikings will pay him.
But here's the difference: if he can go take this team to the NFC title game, or let alone or Super Bowl. He gets paid $50. If he loses round 1, he might only get paid $30.
He's going to get at least Baker Mayfield deal plus inflation, so he's at least going to get 37.
Okay, but my point is, if he goes to the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl, he's getting 50 plus.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
All right, this is our last show. We're not having one next week. This is it. And I don't know how many years we've been doing this show, but it's been a pleasure to be back with you guys again.
We've done it a long time. Gosh, a long time. And
we've been doing it so long that when Tony first started, he used to criticize the team, and now he's just a turncoat working for the team. I mean, my God.
We've come full circle.
Pete.
We really have. Remember, we had to cut off the callers because he was mad to him. Remember?
That's right.
I love
mean.
you.
He was mean.
Pete, I love you. Always will. Even when you're wrong. Even when you're wrong, Pete, which is often on this show.
Yeah.
What happened to our show next week? I thought we were doing
I did too.
No, hey, they banged it. We're not doing it.
They said they don't want to hear from us
had
anymore.
Enough of us. Shut these guys down. That's what it is. Pete, what do you got for the playoffs? You in studio?
I'm in studio all the whole time, and then I'll be at the Super Bowl. You going to the Super Bowl, Tony?
Yeah, I'll be down there during the week, Pete. I got some stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to stay for the game. I'm going to get out of there. But
I'll be there during the week. So
we'll go to dinner.
Yeah, and just promise if I call you a turncoat, you don't hit me.
Yeah, there could be a fight on the streets of New Orleans.
Pete, first of all, I love you more than I love you like a brother. I'd never hit you. And even when when you're a dummy and say stupid things, it just puts a smile on my face.
I just want to know who got into your body today. JP, what the hell?
I don't know. He walked in late. I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know who it is.
Who is he?
Pete, I'm the same every day. Every day.
No, you're not.
Yes,
no,
I am.
You're not. Something happened.
Nothing happened, Pete.
Last week's show, and this show.
No,
Something happened.
Last week I was evaluating what was in front of us. I've said, and Pete, is this not true? Have I not always said I will never hire or fire anybody on the show? That's not my job.
And nobody's asking you to, but you had a different tone. JP, did he have a different tone today?
It was a little different tone.
Hey, JP, why don't you
turncoaty tone?
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
Turncoat Tony is going to be trending on Twitter.
That's better than sports coats.
That's true. Great year, guys. Pete Briscoe, Tony Vaselli, I'm JP Shadrick. Thanks to our entire crew, Joe Fortunato, David Cho, Brent Reber, all the social media people, all the behind the scenes on digital and on radio. Thanks to you for listening and contributing all year as well, all our listeners out there. This is Jaguars Happy Hour, presented by Mr. Chubby's Wings.